Good morning, everyone. My name's Justin. This is the Justin Browser review for March, technically bleeding into April 2026. Currently, I am in my hotel room in Tokyo. I'm on vacation here, but I still wanted to record this because I kind of forgot to last month. So let's dive right into it. Uh, um, yeah, I guess, what were we doing? So I released a public alpha version of this current iteration of the web browser. This is a web demo. You can access this at browser.justinliang.me, and it's just a fun little, or it's both a web demo and you can actually download it here if you click this link. But yeah, you can kind of just uh, interact with the web demo, and you can create new links from the web demo, and you can visit those links. Only some links work because this is only using iframes. It doesn't, so any websites that block iframes won't work on this. um yeah, so I kind of just wanted to get this out pretty quickly because I was going on vacation to Japan, and I just wanted to like have this kind of like unit, this like specific grid unit as a publicly released artifact. I don't think it's like the full, it's not my like full idea of what I want a browser to be, but I just want it to exist for now. Um, I think a lot of my previous works, I created them and they got to pretty like complete states, but I just never ended up releasing them publicly, and I kind of regret doing that. So I just want to change that, even though I don't feel fully confident in this idea. I can expand on this in the author's note in the demo. So that's kind of just on that. If you're curious, feel free to check out that link. Um, but what's next? I've been ideating a lot, and I was thinking a lot about like the previous like Hyper Canvas browser I was making, which was fully spatial canvas browser thing. Um, and I thought it was still interesting because of the expressivity you get from a freeform spatial canvas. So I'm like thinking about ideas to recreate something in that realm. Of course, one of the major caveats, something I mentioned earlier, was like it's not as usable because everything is in the spatial canvas. It's kind of like harder to actually use the website because you have to pan it around to get an exact viewport. So gotta balance that aspect with the current usability I have in this current browser. um, so I was like playing around with some ideas related to that. One of them is like, um, how do you like edit your space? How do you write in the margins of your browser? So I think this is a like hypermedia is like interesting because you can just like I don't know how to explain this. Basically, you can drag images onto the canvas and like manipulate them, and like your browser becomes a canvas on which you can freely edit things. um, I've It was like just a prototype. Um, but yeah, you can imagine making mood boards or notes or whatever using this kind of like drag and drop technique. Yeah, I can create a like a note like cats are cool, dogs are cool. And let's go here. Dogs. Create a dog here. So something like that where you can, I want to be able to edit the environment of the browser as we use it, because currently browsers are just read only tools. You just access websites. And that's not always been the case. The first web browser from Tim Berners-Lee, so like he created this back in 1990. If you just look at the first sentence, it's the first web browser and web page editor. It was a read-write device. I read his book, and like this is what he talked about. I said the idea was always to have users create as easily as they consumed. You know, and it's I never really meant for users to see HTML. All of that was supposed to be done by the read-write web client tool. So it was a read-write browser. It was they even called the current browsers we have are called now passive browsers where you couldn't edit things. So browsers were intended to be this creative tool, uh, in which users could like freely create and like share websites. But we kind of lost that after this rise of passive browsers. After Netscape and shit. Uh, we don't have that anymore. And I want to think of what a browser would look like if it was also a write tool, because hypermedia as a medium, it's this like each website is overflowing with all these units of content we can like share with each other and like store and like think about, and using these pieces of content we can create websites, and then we can share these websites with each other. I think there's like the web browser can be such a beautiful thing that um more retains like the, I don't know how to say, but yeah, like for example, like these images are not just images, they are links. They are links to the source of where I got them. So theoretically, I could like right click this and like create a new website based off of that, or go back to the link, and vice versa. All these are like interlinked objects, and I think that there's something like interesting there. I'm not like fully verbalizing it correctly, but that's basically what I'm thinking. Um, so yeah, I guess like concluding thoughts. Yeah, I want to go back to some sort of spatial canvas interface thing. I think what is interesting is I was actually just thinking about this like 20 minutes ago. Very new idea, but um, like imagine this sidebar is like a bird's eye view of your spatial canvas, and this is like the actual spatial canvas. And when you click on like a tab, it will like pan you over there, and but you can also just like also be able to just like drag something out into the canvas, and that will appear in your sidebar too. And you have this like kind of one-to-one mapping of like this big bird's eye view while also having a direct access to the canvas. So something like along those lines. That's what I'm thinking right now. That's pretty much it. Goodbye. I'm gonna go on a hike at 5 a.m. in Japan. Bye.